Hello, ladies.
Good
Hey.
evening.
Hello.
I want to talk about something. So it's 2 days after the 2026 Winter Olympics wrapped up. And if you know anything about me, I love sports. Grew up as a very amateur athlete, played every single sport imaginable, never really good at any of them, but participation medals all the way around. But there's one thing I love about the sports, one thing I love about the Olympics, which I watch excessively every single winter or summer, is just like the drive to win and these like incredible
Oh,
women,
yeah.
men who are out
Stereotypes.
there doing their
Yeah.
day jobs, achieving amazing things. And it just got me thinking about the word ambition. And I
Woo!
want to unpack that a little bit about this episode.
Woo! I like this.
I know it's a
I like
toasty
this.
word. The big A, the big A. Okay, so first, before we go any further, thoughts on Olympics? Yay or nay? Sport, competition?
I'm
I
all
mean,
for competition. I'm all for sport. I'm on the Olympics. But
really? Why?
we'll get there. Everyone put in their opinion and then we'll get there.
I like watching the Olympics, but I'm not sporty. So I don't know what that's about, but I think it's fun to watch.
You realize I met both of you at the gym and you've just said you're not sporty.
No, I'm
I
not. I'm horrible at sports. I have no hand-eye coordination. I was a dancer, guys.
Okay,
Not sporty.
highly
That's a
athletic,
sport.
and I used to watch you leap into the air doing box jumps, so I would like to call bullshit on you both, and Nina, I've seen your abs, so, like, let's simmer down on the
Again,
non-athletic thing
amateur
here.
athlete. Let's be clear. I can do a box chop. I cannot like shoot a hoop at all.
Well, I proudly identify as an athlete. Laurel, what about you?
Well, for sure. The amateur thing, Nina, like I watch figure skating relentlessly because
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to be. But by the time I was 12, my coach said, you're going to be too tall for this sport. And so you need to move on. And my dreams were crushed. I think that's like grade 7.
Go pick.
And so, yeah, I feel like I lived my dreams through them. So, yeah, I love it. I don't know, Jordan, the comment on the Olympics specifically. Love to unpack that. Don't really understand that.
So, I love competition. I love sport.
Mhm.
I hope we're gonna talk about I think we are, Nina, but based on our text messages the last couple weeks, the badassery that is, like, so many of the female Olympians that we saw, but here's what breaks my heart about the Olympics, legitimately breaks my heart. These people work so effing hard to accomplish their goals, the athleticism, all of these things, and they do it while most of them still working full-time jobs, this, that, and the
Yep.
other thing. Like, you can win your medals and you can have these accolades and you can have all that and still not make like a living wage or a salary. Like, you hear from most of them, whether that's like the Lindsey Vonns or the Breezes or whatever, that like if you don't get sponsorships, it's basically impossible to have the time and the money to compete the way that you need. And the last thing I'll say on this is that you'll also notice that most of the Olympians that get the sponsorship, et cetera, are also the ones that are the easiest on the eyes, i.e., the smoke,
Mm.
i.e., like girl crush Lindsey Vonn that I have, which I have no hatred against. They're fucking hot. Like, give them all the money and do whatever, but you haven't made it so that people can actually be Olympians and like live a lifestyle and train in their sport. Like, so I think that's shitty.
Yeah, like I complain about not having like an extra 30 minutes, an hour in my day. Meanwhile, I'm like sitting around and watching 3 hours of Love Island. And then you have these incredible athletes that are like parents, full-time jobs, like spending every single dollar trying to, grab whatever they can in terms of sponsorships, training like 10 hours a day. It's an incredible feat for me
Yeah.
and something truly, I think, to be admired.
I also love that you said moms and what I think one of the things that I thought was super cool about the Olympics this year is in addition to the athleticism and all of that, you were actually seeing conversations and stories about like women as like a whole person. So even some
Totally.
of the athletes talking about like their kids and like their home lives and what was motivating them or like their roads like I really felt like they were represented as full people, not just like as the athlete. Or even I can't remember her name, you guys probably will remember, but like visibility of like having your child there. Like I just thought there was such a much better representation of like they weren't just one thing as an athlete, they were like the full human, the full woman, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, the Italian speed skater,
That's
Francesca.
yes,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
It's funny though, because I feel like there was mixed commentary about that interview. Some people applauded her for showing that side of her, being a mom and having a kid and having as part of the interview. And then other people are making comments like, doesn't she deserve this time away from her kid? Like, someone should take her kid so that she doesn't have to hold him during the interview. And so it's just funny to see people's perspectives because I actually think it's like it's real life. Like, it's
Yeah.
cool that she felt comfortable enough to get up there with her son and show that side of her. I think it's really brave, in my opinion.
So imagine that it was a male Olympic athlete holding their kid, holding their son. That would
Hottie.
have been social media panty dropping, like what, like that would have been
100%.
Yeah.
like, oh my God, he's this and he's this and he's this, and look, he's such a good dad, and like blah blah blah. Like,
Truly celebrated
yeah,
Mhm.
for holding your child. I agree.
yeah, that he probably spends like 5 hours a week with. But yeah. Sorry.
So one of the stats that I thought was super interesting was that 60% of the athletes that Team Canada sent out this year were actually women. Higher than the majority,
That's
the most
amazing.
they've
Love that.
ever put out there. We
Woot.
had a little bit of a slow start in terms of medals. But we came away like winning a lot of different events. Sazzies for our women's hockey team and our men's hockey team, but it was pretty cool to see like the majority, which you're hearing a little bit more when it comes to things like STEM or university students and like women becoming the majority. So this is like truly a really special stat I think that we've never seen before.
That's
That's
amazing.
cool. I didn't
I
know
think
that.
that's great.
The reason I wanted to have this after call because I was thinking about the word ambition and I was thinking about, as we say, so these athletes are being celebrated, being
Mhm.
called ambitious, like their desire to win, as I said, but like why is that not necessarily the same when it comes to the everyday ambition that women have? Right? Like we are often penalized for being too ambitious if we want to unpack that word a bit. So it was kind of rallying me up when I was thinking about it and wanted to bring you together.
Okay, you guys are gonna laugh because before this recording, I had to Google the word. Not that I didn't know the meaning, but I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I just need to understand better because I feel like there's different perspectives and different connotations with the word ambition. So the dictionary says a strong wish to achieve something, which I think I very much identify with, but it also says a strong wish to be successful, powerful, rich, famous, etc. So I think that's
Really?
sometimes where it can be perceived as a negative thing. And so I think it's good for us to talk about that in general, is like the meaning of ambition. Cause for me, it has multiple meanings. And
See,
I've never called myself ambitious. I've always said driven because I felt like ambitious maybe wasn't the right term to describe myself.
so I love the word ambitious. Like I see it as so positive. And if I think
Mm.
of like the Olympics and I think of there's a beauty in that, in the like the celebration and the being ambitious. I think it's being delulu enough to believe that you can accomplish the goals, or that belief in yourself to like shoot for the stars and go after, like I think ambitious is such a powerful term, and I hate when it gets weaponized. And, like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's been weaponized against me, I'm sure it's been weaponized, but, like, I to me, it is such a beautiful term, and I think to your point, Lex, I don't think I've ever used it to define me or describe me. Like, I think I've done driven, I think you guys have called me like, I've definitely used driven, and I've used that because I actually maybe think I can't use ambitious because I again, it's maybe too positive word, and I don't necessarily know if I have the right criteria to have the, like, positivity around it. So I have a different I don't know.
So why are
Interesting.
we using like why can I not be interchangeable? I'm literally looking up the word driven right now highly motivated person, somebody with strong worth ethic,
Yeah.
somebody that's extremely determined, focused, and ironically uses the word ambitious in the definition for driven. So why are we feeling so inclined to like
So the
swap the two?
words are synonymous. Is that the right? I feel like my high school grammar
Yes,
teacher is gonna
yeah.
cringe, but like
Yeah.
they're synonymous with each other.
They definitely are, but I think the problem is that people can use the word ambition or ambitious in a negative way. So they might say, "Oh,
Ambition.
she's ambitious.
Did you just say
Ambition.
bitching?
Is that a new
I said
word?
ambition, and I'm gonna
Or
make that a positive.
a new
I'm creating a
tagline?
new
I
word.
love it. I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
be ambitious.
Oh my God.
Redefining the term already. I love it. But I think some people will say like she's too ambitious. And why? What what makes that person or that female or that mom too ambitious? And that's where I
Someone else is
think we
jealous.
start to apply these negative labels to words that should be positive descriptors of people
Yeah.
because they are driven. Like I think being driven is such a great quality. Like I mean, when I think about things that I love about my husband, one of the things is like that he's driven. I think that's great. Like there's
You love
nothing
that about your
worse than
husband. People love
yes.
it, and I'm gonna be very polarizing here. People love it about men. People love
Yes.
it as a criteria, but I can even think of some of my guy friends, and some of my guy friends who are super driven, super ambitious. I think of one in particularly who drives a Lexus, and if he's listening, yes, I'm talking about you. Like where it's seen as such a positive and like even attractive quality. Whereas for women, it is not seen that way, especially if we're in a male vertical or industry. Like it has definitely been used against me where it's like you should curb your ambition or you are striving to like it has been weaponized against me for sure. I feel like Laurel, you keep going to say something and I'm on a rant. So
Yeah.
why don't I shut up right now?
I was
Like,
gonna make the same comment. Laurel looks excited and eager.
Laurel's ready and she's like, Jordan, shut
No.
up.
No,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think it's one of those things like Lex, when you're asking about like why there's like a nuance to it. I think people that use it in a negative way, it's when somebody's acting outside of how they think they should behave.
Yeah.
It's like when you're too ambitious, you're acting outside of how I think you should be either working or acting or whatever the context is versus like, why can't I be that, to your point? Like, that is something I wanna do, but I think it's a perception of like, "Hey, I just thought you would be like X. You'd be more complacent or you'd be more, like, amicable to kinda work with." So I think that's the piece where it's
Amicable. That's another
yeah.
one I hate.
But
So
the crazy part is it's based on someone else's perception of how you should
100%.
Then
behave.
why do we
That's
care?
because
yeah,
we
that's a
care,
good point.
because we if it's being like so here going back to the Olympic thing, I think this is a great example. So it's no secret to you guys, but maybe to folks listening, I might really have a bit of a girl crush on Lindsey Vonn.
You've mentioned her name like 3 times already, I
Yeah.
think.
So I think she's great. I think,
Yeah.
and I even think like, I even remember with my ex and his daughter, like I got her the like Under Armour shoes that were Lindsey Vonn. I was like, I'm really trying to like, anyway, here are the reasons why I think she's great. And I think this is where it ties to it. So she's one of the most decorated female downhill skiers. We all know that. You think of the falls that she's had, the traumas that she's had, the rebuilds that she's had to go through, etc. She had retired. She then decided she was out of retirement and then tracked her whole progress and journey to get to these Olympics. There was some positive news around that for I think those of us who maybe are fans and have a girl crush, but there was a lot of negative stuff out there too about like why can't she just retire? Why does
Yeah.
she have to do that? And they were like talking about her ego and blah 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 blah. Ruining the story for everyone, but if you don't already know, this is what happened. She had a fall in the warm-up run, tore her ACL, and then in the actual race, her arm caught one of the flags on the downhill slalom, and she went flying. Her leg is shattered. I think she's gone through multiple days of surgeries. Her other foot, has a broken ankle, like she's completely immobilized. And if anyone has seen it on her social media, if it wasn't for the fact that she had torn her ACL, she may have had to have her leg amputated, but for whatever reason, that helped, the surgeon helped, et cetera, et cetera. Suddenly, you get a pouring of love and adoration and best wishes. And I can't help but wonder if it's because she failed and then people actually saw her as a human, and it brought, because there was some vitriol with her going into it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
people love celebrating an underdog. They want you to succeed until you succeed. And then after you're there, they're kind of like, "Okay, like
I'm
I'm
over it.
over
Yeah.
it." I think that's what happened, where it's like, "Yeah, she's great. She's awesome. Create space for other people." I think that we see that a lot where it's like by the time people get to the top, we're like, "Okay, we're kind of over it." It's like celebrities all the time getting canceled. It's like the
And then you
ones that
want
are
to take
doing
them down.
amazing, you find like one thing and yeah, maybe they screwed up or did an asshole move for a second, but does that deteriorate their like value and all of the other things that they've done? But we love to tear people down that are on top. We wouldn't have done that stuff to Lindsey Vonn if it was somebody that was up and coming. It just wouldn't have happened,
No, it
right?
would
100%.
have been pouring out, and how heartbreaking is this that they couldn't achieve their dream and all of these things. And I think what's interesting, and I think there's this, again, this is part of what I struggle with the Olympics. Again, I think it's great showmanship and a variety of things, but there's also this delicate balance of like hero or headline, or how people get like limited to things, or I think we're of that like Ross Rebeliadi generation where, okay, the dude smoked some weed, but like, so somehow that should discredit that he was a gold medal winner. But
Yeah.
like, if you think of some of the stuff that gets focused on, and what's the name of the downhill freestyle skier? Go?
Eileen
Yeah,
Gu,
Ellen?
yes, love
Yeah.
her.
First of all, so like, how are all these athletes also so stunning? Like, can you
Mhm.
save something positive for the rest of us, please? But I think like what I love about her outside of the athleticism and other things is how she handles some of the media
Mhm.
questioning. So one of the things that I saw, and I posted this to our after call channel, this incited a little bit of a mini riot in front of me, because I hate when women do this shit to other women. So she's sitting there in the media tent, like ready for her interview, etc. And another female journalist asks her, like, how do you answer questions so quickly? What?
How
Like,
is that relevant?
Let's not
how
talk
is
about
that
her
relevant?
athleticism or what she was accomplishing.
Yeah, and the eloquence of how she responded, again, rapid fire quickly, was
Mhm.
basically distilled down into like, I'm just me. I'm answering the way that I would answer. I'm educated on a variety of all these things, but it was like you have this great story about this person who never had Olympic aspirations. So she wanted to be a
Totally.
track star. She ended up in the Olympics like accidentally, then obviously trained and accomplished great things. But like, why is it that, again, back to the ambition thing, why is it that we have to find something that we have to try to tear down versus celebrating them?
Yeah.
And maybe I have a chip on my shoulder, but I don't think they would have ever asked a male athlete, how do you answer questions so quickly?
We can
Yeah.
go into like minutes and minutes
Okay, I'm
and
calming
hours
down.
of
I'm calming down.
interview
I'm calming down.
questions on this.
Calming
And
down.
thank you all for entertaining my Olympics tirade. And Joe, I completely appreciate you because she had lots of incredible moments in the interviews and her little clapbacks. So going back to the definition, Lex, are we taking the word back, ambition? Are we leaving it there?
Ambition.
What are we saying?
We're
Ambition? Are we
redefining
trying to
it.
say ambition? Is that the new word?
I'm coining ambition.
I
Yeah.
know.
This will be my Paris Hilton moment where I like trademark
It's going on a
ambition.
t-shirt.
It's going on a t-shirt, a big giant oversized hoodie. Ambition.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that when it comes to defining ourselves, I agree with you, Laurel, when you made the point that sometimes we shouldn't care. But I also
Mhm.
think that we have to think about how we use these terms in describing people, because
Yeah.
I I think it's important that we praise and we celebrate people for being ambitious and driven, because I think that's a very good quality for someone to have. And I think, you know, is there something necessarily wrong with someone wanting to be successful? Like, what makes what makes someone too ambitious besides the fact that they're acting beyond how you would expect them to? Is it because they
It's
want to
because they're
be
making other people look bad. Like, for people that wanna
Right.
go do their job, and to be fair, if you wanna go do your job, you wanna clock your time, you're just doing your thing, you have no, like, career aspirations, that's fine if that's you.
That's
But
fine.
then when somebody is in the same role that all of a sudden is outperforming, doing some change
Mhm,
stuff,
Yeah.
recommending things, getting
Yeah.
noticed, like, immediately, like, hairs on
mhm.
backs go up, right? They're not in support of, "Hey, Lex, it's cool you're ambitious." They're like, "Wait a minute. This is reflecting poorly on me." And again, it's
Yeah.
about the other person again. So I totally agree that we
Right.
should celebrate it. I think that we have to take away a little bit. We have to be like, if that's something that's inside of you and you're interested in and you're passionate about, we do have to step back and be like, other people might look at me and be like, "What are you doing?" But that's what I want to do. That's what I feel passionate about. That's how I want to
Mhm.
pursue this. But yeah, it is. Yeah,
So am I hearing you right in saying we need to relook at the word ambition as passion then, based on what you just said, Laurel, and celebrating that?
it's interesting. You say it much more eloquently than, than I would. I'm like, wait a minute, that actually does sound nice. Maybe it is
Yeah.
passion. But it is a reframing where I think, like,
Yeah.
in jobs, like, you can be good at what you do and you can just do that and be really good at that, right? And I don't know if that I think then ambition doesn't apply to you necessarily, but if you want to do more and grow and build, I think the word ambition can apply to you. But is that just passion? It's true. Like, is that just passion? Because you like doing it. You like building, you like creating, you like growing, you like challenging yourself. So maybe it is passion. Maybe that's the one that's less has a less negative connotation to it.
So
Oh,
I have questions for all of
yeah.
us and for anyone listening. So Lex, when you were talking about the definition and we were talking about all of that, we all basically confessed that it wasn't something that we would necessarily label ourselves to. But I
Mhm.
would argue that we have four fairly driven, and we now know that ambition is also in the definition for driven women on this call. So, I mean, like, Lex, you're an entrepreneur that started your business. Like, Nina, you've climbed the corporate ladder. I've accomplished a very variety of things, either sports wise or professionally. Laurel, I see the like tenacity that you approach things with, etc. Like, but we still don't use it in our vernacular
Mhm.
to describe us. So I think that's parking lot item number one. But
Totally.
question for the moms, would you instill and inspire ambition into the next generation that you have created and brought into this world? Laurel with two girls and like Lex, you raising a little boy. Like, will you inspire ambition into them?
Love that.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I don't call myself ambitious. I think because I've always seen ambitious as like having a certain goal. Like, okay, from a young age, I always want, I'm going to be a CEO or I'm going to run a Fortune 500 company. That's not me. I usually,
Starting your own business and building your own
I,
branding and
no, I make goals based on where I'm at in my life, like things that I want to
okay.
achieve, so I'll be like, okay, like this is something I want to do. And I think what the way I describe myself is more on the side of driven because I don't give up. Like I'm definitely
Oh.
hard-headed in that way. Like when we talked about exit strategy, how sometimes I stay too long because I'm like, no, I'm not a quitter. Like it's definitely a trait I think that has been kind of part of my it's been part of me since I was young. And
Okay.
I think it's an important trait to instill in our children because they need to understand that things are hard and you have to tough it out. And if you want to achieve something, it's important that you go for what you want, set
Go
your
for
mind to
gold.
it.
Totally.
Yeah, like I think that's all these are all important things that we need to teach our children because my faith in humanity is waning with how things are
On a
going with
daily basis. No big
Yeah.
yeah,
deal.
so to answer your question, yes, I think it's important, but it's just funny how the way I see it is going after what you want, not giving up, and if you get knocked down, get up again and try.
Okay. Laurel, what about you?
I was gonna say cue Chumbawamba. Is that what
Again,
we're noting?
okay.
Yes, that is going to be the theme song of this episode.
Yeah, I think, like, I wouldn't say overtly that I'm trying to instill ambition in my children. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't actually say that word. I would say like independence and passion and ability to like problem solve and make decisions.
Okay.
I think is probably what it is. And maybe if you wrap those things up, it ends up being ambition or passion, like or the word driven kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's interesting. Like I want people to go after what they think that their skills are, what their like passions are. Like how do we do that? And so maybe it is the word ambition. And so maybe I'm coming around to the word ambition that
I
it
love
is
that.
less, it can be less negative. I think
Yeah,
if we frame it like that, which I think Nina is what you're saying about, can we claim it back? Can we
100%.
start by being more supportive about it, by celebrating? Like Lex, to your point, I don't think I've ever celebrated anybody specifically and said like, hey, like I really appreciated your ambition on that project or on something you're working on in general, even if it's not work
Yeah.
related. And so maybe that's something that we can start reframing and see if that's something that works for us.
So I
And
want to hear Nina's
follow-up
perspective, and then I'm
question.
gonna launch something at you guys. Nina, go.
Yeah, I'm just thinking through this. Like, do we always have this view on ambition, like ambition through the ages? When I think of like me as a 20-year-old, I was like, all right, I want to like enter my corporate job. I was like hobnobbing with all these partners, trying to like get ahead, do all these things. Granted, I'm still kind of like that. But for the rest of you, like, I know everyone's laughing at me. Ambition through the ages, like, has it changed? 20, 30s, 40s? I do think for me, just being a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more senior, the definition of ambition has changed a little bit. Maybe how I look at it, it might be more related to how I lead teams or how I build client relationships. It's maybe less about me, maybe more about what I'm doing for other people, but the essence of what I stand for is still the same.
So I'm going to put my minor in sociology to work here and share an observation that might be polarizing, and you guys can tell me where to stick it later. I feel like I don't like the word afraid. I feel like we are backing down from the acceptance of the, but there's something in our
100%.
conversation where we're like,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe afraid of the word, and I don't like it. I feel like we're
Yeah,
somehow backing away from it. And if I think of like Nina, you were saying that you've been watching like the Olympics, or I think part of why you like it so much is you're watching a bunch of ambitious
badass women
ladies
doing
that
badass things.
totally
Absolutely.
off to, because
Always.
they went and they had the ambition and they had the drive to, and I think that's part of why the Olympics is great, because we watch those and we celebrate it. But then I think maybe even like Laurel, to what you're saying, there's something negative in the connotation where we don't want to bring it back in. But I would think that most of our like Lex, your husband that you're calling out, or others, like it's celebrated in men. And even I'm
Mhm.
watching us back away from
Yeah,
it in this conversation. And
yeah,
I think we need to take it back. And joking, not joking, I'm going to start to use ambitious because I think you need a little bit of an edge to do it. And I'm also just going to claim that word. But I'm watching us back away from it, and I don't like it because we've all done things with tenacity and drive. Even starting this podcast required some ambition.
100%. I
Mhm.
I have to admit, this is not the conversation I thought we were gonna have.
It's totally
Like,
did
I
not.
was,
I
like I
wanted to
said,
talk
all
about, yeah.
fired up about ambition. I was like, "Why are we not talking about this? Why are we not celebrating it?" And this is the first time I agree with you, Joe. I think we're all kinda questioning where we stand on it.
This is
Is
the
it the
Mhm.
first
word or
time
is
you
it just
agree with me?
not? Yeah, 100% I agree with you.
Oh, I thought you meant like the first time ever that you agreed with me. I was like,
This
wait,
is
what?
true.
We have known each
This
other
is
for a
true.
decade, but I'm glad you
I
agree.
know.
So I I think I think we need to give ourselves some homework.
Agreed. I think there's a follow-up episode to this. Lex,
I think there's
Laurel?
a yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have to figure out what is so scary about ambition.
Laurel's glaring at me for anyone
Yeah,
not watching the
I
video.
think it's like it goes
Just
back to
glaring.
the definition. Like I think we're talking about the same thing in terms of direction, but Lex mentioned too, like I perceive ambition as like having an end state. Like that point of like, yeah, like if you want to go after to be a CEO, then you're like too ambitious to do that. But I've never had like one of those things where I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going after. I am passionate about what I do. I am tenacious at what I do. I want to make
Mhm.
sure it's done well and right. Does that make me ambitious? Like,
Yes,
I
it
don't know.
does.
But I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's where
I
I'm getting hung
wonder
up.
Yeah, I wonder because it's funny that we use other terms to describe a
the same
similar
thing.
quality.
And we're
But-
backing away from it.
Yeah, but I guess, like you said, Laurel, when it's wrapped up, it probably encompasses all that is ambition. But it's funny that we lean towards other traits that maybe are a bit softer, like
Yeah.
passionate, tenacity, like things that don't necessarily have. You know what? I want to like. I think we should do some research on ambition
Yeah.
and why this term over the years has maybe developed this negative connotation. Because you could see even us, we're like,
Backing
I'm
away
not
from that.
ambitious, but I'm these other traits that essentially mean the same thing.
So I'm also going to blame 90s and early 2000s movies because as you were
Yeah.
speaking, what started to pop into my head was like Devil Wears Prada or some like that figure where they were like the ambitious, like crone almost that was like mean or calculated or to your point,
Yeah.
the CEO or whatever. And then that like younger, more like driven or aspirational. Like, I actually think there's been this really negative connotation that maybe we've been like programmed into as I'm literally
Mhm.
watching us all back away from the word. And I don't like that for any of us or
Totally.
anyone listening. I
Yeah.
think
This is not inspiring. It's
no,
not how we should be encouraging our community to
I'm-
act and to
I'm
stand behind things
disappointed
that
in
like
us.
make us special. And
Let's
yeah,
not forget at the end of Devil Wears Prada, she does learn some lessons, right, from this ambitious woman.
To dump the
So-
dude.
do tell, Lex. What are
From
these
the movie,
lessons?
guys. Remember at first, like, she hates this woman that she works for, and then at the end, she respects her because she
Miranda.
sees how successful she is and how driven she is and how much tenacity and
Ambitious.
passion
Yeah.
she has. Yeah. So I think there is definitely a positive spin that we can take, but I agree that maybe what we've all kind of been meant to think is that meant to think is that we I know is that it's not a good thing, right? Like just from movies like you mentioned, Joe. So it's interesting. I'd like to definitely dig in more and come back
Yeah.
to this one.
All right. So this is episode 1 of future
good.
episodes about ambition, driven, passion, ambition is the new term we're using. 2 things we need to do. One is look at ambition throughout the ages, definition. 2, I want to challenge all of us to come to the next episode on ambition with 3 positive words to describe ourselves.
Oh.
And then let's discuss and see where we land. Are there commonalities? Are there differences? Is there ick moments when you're doing that? Or do you feel super
Did you give
confident
yourself
about it?
the ick?
If you can give yourself the ick.
And
How
then
does
I
this
would
sound?
I think that sounds great.
Amazing.
Let's do
Yep.
it.
So
the
on
one-
that note, I want to hear from everybody in the community. How do you feel about the word ambition? Like, subscribe, comment. This is clearly something that's going to fire some people up, either get them mad or aligned with us. But let's hear what you have to say.
And I'd like to thank all the female athletes for having us recognize that maybe we are
Agreed.
not as ambitious or as ambition as we probably should be.
All right.
Well
Until the
said.
next time, ladies.
See ya.
Thanks for being part of the after call. If this felt familiar, you're not alone. Hit subscribe, leave us a comment, and share this episode with a friend. See you next time for more real talk about the beautiful, messy chaos of life.